Okay, this one says, dedicated to the many thousands of Italians in this area who, through dedication, sweat, and toil, gave their best to build this nation. So, and this is the Italian and Canadian flags. And so what we're talking about here is people of the previous generations that were here and left this monument for us. And so what do we want to take from this particular story? What I'm getting is we have got to remember these people. We have got to remember that they came with nothing. No money, nothing. They were here and they were helped. And what this one says is they helped a lot of people who were just like them. They helped each other. They worked as a community. And the community contributing to the building of a nation. Well, now, what have we got? We don't know what we have because we don't have the community. The community has become non-existent. The community is not doing anything. Instead, we have, let's call them governmental organizations that are doing the jobs that the community should be doing. And therefore, we have got to remember the previous generations got us here. And they gave us a hand up because they built all the infrastructure that's already here. So when we were born, there was already all the utilities and all the things that they need to put together in order to house you and everything else. I mean, the feeding, the clothing, the toys, everything was already here being made for you by previous generations. So if you're going to pay it forward to future generations, what are you going to add to what you got? Because as a Earth society now, we are doing nothing. We are letting these so-called governmental organizations tell us how to think. And I don't want to think like what they think I should think. So I don't want brainwashing, and I don't want narratives. I don't want Anthony Fauci. I don't want all this shit. I don't want the future generations to have this shit. What's shitty about it? The shitty about it is that I'm not even known to the people who are deciding my future. And I'm not going to go with someone else's agenda that says these are the ones that have been selected because they're most worthy. Because I wasn't even vetted as an option. I wasn't. No one calls me from the White House or 24 Sussex Drive or Whitehall or any other governmental organization. No. So, why should I say I consent to all of your story about why this person is the right person? It's like story. I don't know this person at all. It's a lovely story, but I can buy a fictional book that have got more interesting characters that were cooked up by an author's imagination than these other people. So I do not consent, and I put it out to you, that the people who wanted to build a nation wanted people to have little pink houses and live in nice neighborhoods and have children and have whatever else they wanted to have. And in these times, we have to remember that they had a dream for us, and it was a better future than what they had. And with all of the constant fear in the air about, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm not only that, I'm going to have a horrible death. This stuff long-term pollutes your mind, and it gets you off of making big dreams for the future generations of Earth to make this place better. Instead, we are constantly going backwards into fear, and instead of having an enormous vision, we are so focused on the fear and panic. Fear and panic, and then we'll switch over to another story about some other horror. Like, there's like mass shootings in your city last night. Or there was any number of these things. They're constantly bringing you back to the idea that I'm in constant danger here, and I can't plan for the future at all. I'm putting out fires every day. So we're going to have to remember that the people who were ahead of us in generations had it really hard because they didn't have our technology. And the message from them is going to be, don't get yourself all caught up in the fires of the day. You must plan for a grand future for future generations of humans. Because if you're not planning a betterment, you're planning a worsening. And all of your focus is on worsening conditions, because that's what your media keeps feeding you, because it gets your attention. It's disgusting, but you're all like addicted to it. And we can't get out of this addiction because we don't own the media. But the media and the government together tell us what to think, and their narrative is always going to be one that eventually you're going to say, well, if I was them, this would be the rational thing to do. And this rational thing to do is unchecked. We have dictators who are doing whatever the fuck they want and telling us what to do. And we never gave them consent to do this. We didn't. They were supposed to insist on you being their pet. And, all of these different stories that mainstream news even talks about investigations into, for example, Hunter Biden. What happened? Well, with Mr. Trump, it was a whitewash. In other words, whatever was found there was watered down so much that it was considered like, he wasn't guilty. And I don't think that's what it said. But we're never going to know. Because it's are you really going to go and try and find all these documents? And then if you got something there and people are going to say, well, is this like the real document or is this a phony fake one? So everyone is getting really good at, but the problem is if we have no good information, then what are we? Anything better than guessing? We can't trust the information we're given. And the information we find is like, did they plant this here? I mean, seriously, cookies in your browser? That was like many years ago. Do you think that they don't have more advanced versions than cookies? I don't want to tell you anything more than it's not internally problematic to understand these things. What's internally problematic is where can you go from here? And part of the answer is maybe you don't even know. And maybe you're never going to know. And this has been another episode of The Twilight Zone. I'm Rod Serling.